Today I have an interesting topic. A lot of times when people are struggling in their marriage, they often assume that they need their spouse to cooperate with them to transform their marriage or to even have some peace and joy in their marriage. And this can really become very frustrating because many times the spouse is unwilling to change or willing to go with them to get help, to get support, and the marriage just continues to struggle. And the individual who is ready to fix the marriage, work on the marriage, seems to be left alone. All right. So today I want to share with you something very important. I want to share with you the fact that you alone, you can change your marriage. You can actually save your marriage from divorce. You can change the direction of your marriage. You may not be able to change every part of it, but you can change the direction of your marriage alone. And I want to show you why and how that can be. You may have thought in your mind that if your wife is disrespectful to you, or she's disconnected from you, or she keeps saying words that just make you want to run away from them, or just silence them and just ignore them, give them the cold treatment. And maybe you've been doing that, or you've been saying, you know what, this behavior is wrong, let's get to a counselor. And most times maybe they've been the one asking for that for years, and now the situation has reversed because you are aware now and you want to change your marriage, and that is not happening. I want you to know that you don't need them to change the direction of your marriage. You can do that by yourself right now. It's always better when the two are working together, but sometimes you don't have the other person. I want to give you this assurance that it is not true that only when both of you are working on the marriage that the marriage can survive or move in the right direction. Somebody can start the transition and enroll the other one along the path. The only concept of help for marriage that most people know is the help for the relationship, the communication. So where you have two people, family or couples therapy, that's all they know, or marriage counseling for the both of them, that's all they know. And where does this come from? It comes from the understanding that the person that needs to change is your spouse. And so when you are convinced that the reason why the marriage is struggling is because your spouse is doing whatever they are doing, you're going to be blocked into that space where you're going to say, unless we work on the one who's the problem, the marriage can't work. But that's not the only option. That's what I want to share with you today. It's not the only option. It's one option. It's a good one, maybe the best, if you had the control of her. But right now you don't, and all you have is the control of yourself. And the same thing can happen for the women. But today I want to focus on the men. So men, listen to me. You can change your marriage by yourself and then enroll your wife later. And here is why. Marriage is composed of two people. Marriage is just two of you. There's nothing extra there. It's just you and your spouse and your interaction with one another within the presence of God. This is it. This is what marriage is. You, your wife, and God working with both of you. As you interact with each other, you respond to each other's challenges and weaknesses. Now, what you're experiencing that's making you feel that your marriage is not moving the way it ought to move is because your skill is not high enough to handle her weakness. I hope you got that. Your skill is not high enough to handle her weakness. And she is not the problem. She's not the source of the problem. Neither are you. Not None of you are the source of the problem you're facing in the marriage. The problem is a lack of skill. When it comes to skill, you just don't acquire a skill suddenly or by reading of it in a book or by hearing someone tell it to you. And so I don't expect you to suddenly have the skills that I'm going to share with you, but I expect you to know now that if you work on getting those skills, you're going to have transformation. And so the challenge in a marriage, or the struggle in any marriage, every marriage has some struggle. And the reason why is because one of them or both of them do not have the skill level to handle the weaknesses of their spouse. When your spouse is not exhibiting their weaknesses, the marriage seems to work well. And why do they have those weaknesses? Because they are human. They were created with a design, but they have gone through so many things in life to bring them to the point where they are. Their DNA, their parents' behavior, their grandparents' behavior, all sorts of mixtures have made them who they are. So they have some strengths and they have some weaknesses, and that's exactly how you are. And so, as a man, if you want to change your marriage, you want to learn the skill to handle the weaknesses, so that when the marriage goes into water, just like when you bring me into water, you're able to float and operate until you get to dry land again and continue to work. This is how marriages work. Marriages that are successful, that are beautiful, that are growing and thriving, are marriages where one of the couple or both of them preferably have learned to handle each other's weaknesses, such that when they show up, they are able to manage them and move forward and not allow those weaknesses to drown them. If you change, your marriage will change. It may not change to exactly what you want, because changing your color may be quite difficult. It may take practice. The beauty of it is there's no way that you will change that she won't change. She has to change, because what color you see of her right now is a response to the color that you're bringing in. Your wife is responding to how you present in your marriage. Everyone is like that. You are also responding to how she's presenting in the marriage. What you need to learn to do if you want to transform your marriage is to stop just responding, but to start to determine what you want to be. You only take responsibility for how you present and how you are in the marriage. If you begin to practice that, she has to respond to you, and that marriage will change. So the key there is to then think of how you want to be in your marriage moving forward forever, especially as a believer, what you believe God has called you to be, how you believe God has called you to be in your marriage. Then you lean into that and you be that regardless of what she is. If you start doing that, you just stay in the space where you want to be, then she must respond to that person. And when she begins to respond to that person, you can also learn to enroll her, because of course that's who you want to be. You want to be a leader. And who's a leader? A leader is a person who is able to change the behavior of another person by inspiration, not by compulsion, not by trying to cajole them or force them, but by inspiring them to do what they ought to do, and take action the way they ought to take action. You want, as a man, to begin to be and live the life that you want to live from this moment. That's what you want to practice and learn. That's a skill you have to learn. And in, of course, in that skill, it involves loving unconditionally. It involves releasing and forgiving everything that she does or other people do to hurt you, or that they've done to hurt you. So most of the transformation that you're going to be doing may not even affect her at first. They have to be internal transformation for you. Part of the change that you're going to be doing for yourself is learning to identify all the bad habits that you have acquired over the years when you didn't know how to live in this way that God has designed you to be. So habits of anger, habits of lying, habits of complaining, habits of trying to bribe and impatience, all of that you're going to be tr- putting them away so that you can keep being the color person that God designed you to be. And you're going to learn how to be truthful, to be yourself, to be the true person that God calls you to be. You're going to learn how to submit completely to God and trust him to be the owner of your life. So you see, as you do all this transformation, you're changing the way you present in the marriage. You're changing the way you respond to the things that you don't like. You're staying true to who you want to be, and your wife would have to react to that. Your wife will have to react to that. All right, and as you do that, you will begin to see her show her own strength. You will learn how to appreciate her strength. Maybe you're doing that right now, but definitely there may be some habits that you didn't have. You keep working on those habits, and as you do that, you're going to be changing your marriage. If you have any ideas, you have questions, you want to have some input in what we're doing, then I'm always open. I always love to hear back from you. If you're on my mailing list, I always send emails every day to encourage, to strengthen, to challenge. And if you're not on my mailing list, then you want to go to love.adesobanjo.com, love.adesobanjo, adesobanjo.com, and give me your email, and you start receiving from me every day. And I read my email. So if you're on my mailing list and you respond to my mail, I will read them myself and I'll respond to you. All right. The Lord bless you. May the grace of the Lord abound upon you, and may God's wisdom continue to increase on you. And until next time, continue to love like Jesus and make mega impact. Bye for now.